Hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for my live bookshelf. I almost said reorganization because that's what I normally do, but it is a live bookshelf decoration. So I'm going to be decorating my beautiful bookshelves for Christmas. And yeah, so I'm going to give people a couple minutes to join and whatnot. I need to shut my door because it keeps opening because of the weather. So I have my window open. But hello, thank you for joining me. I am going to quickly post a little Insta story so that people know to join me there. So thank you all so much for being here. I know a lot of you stay up like late because we're in different time zones, and I know I announced it a little early, a little bit later than I would have wanted to, but I thank you guys so much for joining. So let me do this. Oh, I wanted to play music. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, let's hang out for a second while I put on some Christmassy music. I saw you guys chatting about, ooh, this is like gross. Don't look at that. I have like my wires and papers everywhere. But I wanted to put on some like soft Christmas music in the background, which I thought would be nice. What I was saying before is that I saw you guys talking about like what you're reading and whatnot. So that made me happy to see. So let's see, beautiful Christmas music, fireplace sounds, relaxing Christmas classical music. Let's see if that is the move for today, if my YouTube works. Come on, I know you can do it. All right, well, let's leave it for a minute. I always get this error message on YouTube, but we'll leave it and we'll see, and if it doesn't go on in a couple of minutes, I'll choose a different link. But yeah, hello. Oh, there we go. That's like a little low. Maybe I want a little louder. Just a little bit. Because it's just me talking. Yeah, that's nice. Sure. Okay, now I have to do a little post on Insta, and then we can get started. So I have been decorating my bookshelves for Christmas for a couple of years, and I absolutely love it. It makes me really happy to decorate for Christmas and Halloween. So I'm going to take a quick little picture. I would tell you guys to smile, but I can't see you. So let me just post that really quick. Let's see. We are live. Swipe up to join. So yeah, I figured this could just be like a really casual thing. I was gonna do this anyways, so like I might as well hang out with y'all while I do it. And yeah, that's all there is to it. So the way that I like to decorate my bookshelves for Christmas is I have two. So this is like my main case, and then I have that second case right there. So that second case, I typically do like a wintry theme, and this one is very Christmas based. So I'm gonna start with this one because this is my favorite to do. It's always my favorite. It's where I keep like my favorite books and whatnot. So I think the first thing I'm gonna start with is putting up my little bookish stockings that I have. So I got these little stockings at Target, and each of them say, they each have letters like BOOKS. So I'm gonna put those up first. So I like to do lives as like a little Q&A. So feel free to send me some questions, and we can talk about all things that are like book related, life related, school related, mental health, whatever it may be. But yeah, just wanted to do like a fun little decoration. Let's see what you guys are chatting about. How am I? I am doing well, thank you. I had a pretty chill day where what did I do first? Is that where I hang them? Do I hang them up here? I don't remember. I think I do here, so you can see them in videos. So that's what I'm gonna do. yeah, I had a pretty chill day. I got up pretty early, which is nice. I am a morning person, and I like always like get up early, like not even voluntarily. Like I can't sleep in past like 9 o'clock. If I sleep until 10, it's because I was up until like 2 or 3. So I got up my typical time really. And I basically just started getting ready this morning, organizing all my stuff for this little live stream, and then I also have been working on a paper for one of my classes. So one of my classes, what we have to do is, I'm in like an assessment of counseling class. So we learn all about different psychological assessments that like you would use as a therapist on clients to like find out information about them and help inform their treatment. So I had to get a friend and do like 2 personality-based assessments. And so now I basically have to write up a big report on it. And I'm very pleased because I think I got like half of it done today. Wait, this isn't centered and this is driving me nuts. So I was very pleased with that, especially because it's due Monday. So I am a little time limited, but it hasn't been as difficult as I was anticipating. So it was actually kind of nice to just get a ton of work done. And then I started like prepping a little bit for this, like organizing all my decorations and whatnot. So it would be easier for me to do that here. And so yeah, I'm feeling good though. What else? Yeah, semester's almost over, and this is my last like big assignment. So I'm feeling great about that. Like once this is done, I have like one final, and all of my tests really are open book because they're all online. Even before the pandemic, they were mostly all online. So I like don't have to worry about studying too hard. You know, I still will review my material, but it's pretty nice that I get to always have my books open with me to like double check my work and stuff. And so then the semester will be over, and I will have about a month's break, I think. About a month's break sounds right. Until we go back in January. Yeah, aren't these so cute? These are like my favorite decorations, I think, that I put up every year. I went to Target sometime last week, I think, looking for more decorations because I've always been really pleased. And my local Target is like a smaller one. It's not one of like the big massive ones. And their Christmas section was like non-existent. It was really disappointing. So I unfortunately didn't have the ability to get like too many new decorations this year, but it's fine because all the ones I have work really well. I'm always really pleased with them. So I'm not too fussed. Not too fussed. Yeah, see how cute that is? I'm obsessed. Oh, it's like reverse, so you can't fully see it. But yeah, yes, I am in grad school. Oh, sometimes I forget that like not everyone knows that. Even though I feel like I talk about grad school all the time. Like with my friends, like Michael specifically always makes fun of me because every response ever is like, I can't do that, I'm in grad school. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I have this bag of ornaments that I like to put on the lights. These lights stay up year round. They are like Christmassy lights. But I really like to put up these cute little ornaments, and I got some new ones this year. So yeah, what am I reading currently? So I recently finished, what did I recently finish? I recently finished The Lost Book of the White by Cassandra Clare and not Holly Black, that's a Magisterium series. I recently finished, The Lost Book of the White by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. And I really enjoyed it. I always say that like the, the Eldest Curses series is not my favorite, just because like it's like a spin-off, and so like I definitely am more accustomed to the like actual, not like they're not actual books, but like the standard like Shadowhunter Chronicles series. But it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that one. and I'm really glad I read it. And I also recently finished The Vanishing Half by Britt Barnett, which I really liked. I thought it was actually a little slow to start, but all of a sudden I got like really invested in it. It was very surprising by the end of it. But I got like really attached to the characters and the story. So that was a good one. The thing is, I never know like how many I have of these ornaments. So it's always a bit difficult to like figure them out. But we will see, and we will do what we can do. And I'm not like too stressed about it this year because like who cares about like what the who cares what like the order of the ornaments are, really? Not me. Where did I get my lights, and are they expensive? I actually got these on Target, and I really love them. I've been buying these for a couple of years now, and they're like my favorite lights. I always wanted globe lights as opposed to like Christmas lights and fairy lights. And yeah, they are like $10 per strand. I think there's maybe like 25 lights per strand, but they are my absolute favorite. What one do I want to do next? I think I want to do a big one next. So let's go with gold. Let's see what other questions. How do you deal with college admissions anxiety or tips for productivity? You know, I've never really felt a lot of anxiety regarding college because like I knew I wanted to stay local. I knew what I wanted to study. I knew like the few colleges I wanted to apply to, but I feel like dealing with that kind of anxiety is similar to dealing with any kind of anxiety of like big up and coming things or having to make decisions. So, but as for tips for productivity, I've shared this tip a lot to anyone who is like super dedicated follower on my Instagram. My main tip for productivity goes back to setting timers to do things. So like when I'm having difficulty sitting down to do an assignment or just like anything, and I'm struggling to like get myself to do it, I find it really much easier to set a timer for 10 or 15 minutes and then say, I'm going to do that thing for 10 or 15 minutes. And then when the timer gets off, I am able to like reevaluate what I need. So, you know, sometimes I might want to take a break. And then, you know, I'll take like a 15-minute break and then come back to it and do like another 10 or 15 minutes. Or what frequently happens is I do like the 10 or 15 minutes and I'm like, wait, this is easy. Like I'm already invested in it. So let me continue. So that's definitely my favorite tip for productivity. I find it works a lot of the time. And then another big one for me is setting reasonable goals. I'm a big to-do list person. So I write a lot of to-do lists. And I'm also a very busy person, so those to-do lists can get very long, and it becomes overwhelming. So what I frequently like to do is, or what I've really been trying to do more recently, I think that's a better way to say it, because it's not what I always do. But I have been trying to set like smaller to-do lists and more reasonable things for me to do in a day, because oftentimes, like, we get stressed about, like, things that need to be done, like, this week or this month, and it feels really immediate. But oftentimes, we can really, like, even that out to say, like, what needs to be done today. And when you think of it in terms of that rather than, like, the bigger to-do list, I feel it's helped me a lot recently to, like, actually focus on getting those more immediate things done. That doesn't stop me from like feeling anxious about like all the other things that I need to do, but it does make me, it makes it a little bit more attainable. That's the whole point of attainable goals, is to make them things that you can actually achieve, and that I feel better about getting those things done. Even if it's not my whole to-do list, like I'm able to feel good about the fact that I got like 2 things done or 3 things done. And also, if you make a smaller to-do list and you get all of it done, like you can add other things on at the end, or you can just say like, I did what I wanted to for today. So those are definitely some of my tips for productivity and like staying sane. I find those things to be a lot more helpful. And getting things done and being productive. Hello to you all who are starting to join and whatnot. What's a question you're tired of answering? That's a good question. That's not one I get asked a lot. Questions that I'm tired of answering. I don't know if I'm necessarily tired of answering them. It's more just like with like grad school, like anytime I talk about it, people are like, what are you studying? And like I said before, I feel like I talk about grad school so much that it feels like I'm always being like, I'm studying mental health counseling, I'm almost done with my program. But I don't know if there's necessarily anything that I'm like tired of answering. I will keep that in mind though, and maybe some of that will come up tonight in the Q&A. I see people asking if this live is going to be saved, and it is going to be saved. There's always a chance that I might like accidentally delete it before it's done, but I'm not planning on doing that, so I hope not. Let's see. If I can only pick one series to read, what would it be? It would be The Mortal Instruments. Maybe that's a good thing for questions I'm tired of answering. I'm not necessarily tired of answering those questions, but it's more like I always, like everyone's always like, what's your favorite this? What's your favorite book? What's your favorite book series? What's like your one book that you would read for the rest of your life? Like so often those answers are The Mortal Instruments. Because it's my favorite, and it feels dishonest for me to say anything else, because that's the truth of it. Someone asked if I listened to Taylor Swift, and someone I saw before asked if I listened to folklore, and I'm not personally like a big Taylor Swift fan. It's just not my type of music personally, so I never really got into it. So like there's definitely been Taylor Swift songs I've liked in the past, but it's not what I reach for really when it comes to music. And I have not listened to folklore. I haven't listened to anything off of folklore, just again because it's like not my type of music personally. Chairman Meow or church? I feel like my answer has to be church because church gets way more attention and page time than Chairman Meow. I feel like Chairman Meow maybe doesn't get the love and support that he should, because like first of all, was he in the last book of the way? I think he was in the last book of the way. I don't remember. Let's see what other questions we can ask. Let's see. Tips for statistics. Pay attention. That's really my only tip. I don't know if I necessarily have tips for like how to like pass your class and whatnot. But for me, statistics is hard, and we do a lot of it in psychology. So it hasn't been. What was I going to say? So yeah, but once you get statistics, I feel, then you get it. So I think that it's just important to really listen in your classes and like actually read your textbook if that's what you have to do. Those would be some of my suggestions for statistics classes. Let's see. What are my plans for Christmas this year? Nothing. I'm really staying home. I don't really have any plans for Christmas. I'm planning a Christmas Eve reading vlog, which will be fun. I did one of those last year, and I did not upload it in time, and so I ended up uploading it in July, which is not the Christmas season. But I am definitely looking forward to... Why do I have so many green ornaments? I feel like this is not even. But yeah, so I don't really have any plans for Christmas. My family's never really been big on Christmas. Like, holidays in general, I feel my family just, like, has been more chill about it. We've never been one to, like, get really, like, have big get-togethers. Or, like, we used to have a lot of traditions when we were younger, but after my parents got divorced, like, they just became not as important. So, and especially with the pandemic, like, I'm not going anywhere. But, yeah, my sister and my mom and I usually will get together on Christmas Eve. and we will like order in Chinese food and watch a movie. That's been like our what our Christmases look like these past years, and then we'll open presents on Christmas Eve. So yeah, so I'll just be having a chill holiday, I think. Yeah, we used to go to this place called the Miller Gin on Long Island, and I adored that place so much. It's a really beautiful restaurant that has like a little Christmassy village and shops that you can shop at and whatnot. And so yeah, that was really nice to do as a kid. Like they would have like carolers singing while you're eating and whatnot. So I really enjoyed it. I would love to go again for another year when it is safer, because that's not happening this year, of course. Let's see what other questions. Am I close with my sister? I don't think I'm close with my sister. We're definitely not the type of siblings that like tell each other everything, and especially because she doesn't live at home anymore. Like we talk less frequently, but she does live really close now. She moved back into our area right around the right around the pandemic. So it's been nice to have her close by again. And when I was doing that assignment that I was talking about earlier in for my assessments class, I used her boyfriend as my assessment subject. So I got to see her and hang out with her, which was really nice. But yeah, I love my sister. She's wonderful. She's very sweet, very hardworking, and she's talented too. She also does pole now. I haven't been to pole in like ages, so she goes more than I do now, and she's actually much stronger than me and has nailed more tricks than I have. But yeah, I love my sister, and it's definitely been nice to like also bond over that part of our lives and whatnot. Let's see. How have I been feeling? Someone asked me before about like how my stomach has been, because that's what I was sick with, and I've been feeling much better, thank you. I actually am getting a gastric emptying test on Monday, so that's like the next of my tests. Next of many tests that I have been taking. But yeah, so I still don't know what's wrong with me or why I got so sick. I've been having this like these chronic stomach issues for years now. It started in 2018, I believe. And yeah, I still don't have an answer, which is definitely frustrating, but we're working on it. That's all we can do really at the end of the day, is just try and find that answer. But yeah, hopefully the gastric emptying test will be some answers, which will be nice. Let's see. One of my favorite characters in the Mortal Instruments series. I say this a lot. I feel that like I am a big, I'm the type of person where I resonate really closely with protagonists, and so like the main characters are always my favorite. I feel like there's lots of people out there where these side characters are often their favorite. I don't know why that is. For me, I feel like it's just like a personality type thing. But yeah, my favorite characters in the Mortal Instruments are, of course, Jason Clary, who I adore. Sebastian is my favorite villain because I just think his arc is so interesting. And not just his arc, really, more just like his background and his history and like the way his mind works really interests me. But I love everyone in the Mortal Instruments. I love absolutely every Mortal Instruments character. And of all the Shadowhunters too, but definitely favorite characters always come back to the protagonist. So like my favorite characters in the Infernal Devices are Will and Tessa. In what is it? In the Dark Artifices, I love Emma Carstairs, of course. And surprisingly, though, Tiberius Blackthorn is one of my favorite characters in the Dark Artifices as well. So I'm really looking forward to what the frick is that book called? The Last Hours. That's a series I'm looking for. I confuse them all so much. But yeah, so those are some of my favorites that I I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. And in Chain of Gold, I feel like there's not a lot of side characters in Chain of Gold. There's a lot of main characters in Chain of Gold. And so I think that some of my favorite Chain of Gold characters, how many more of these do I have left? Some of my favorite Chain of Gold characters, Lucy I think is my favorite. I love Lucy Herondale. So she's definitely a favorite of mine. Cordelia also kind of like surprised me how much I loved her. Like, I really didn't even know that she was a main character in Chain of Gold until she was like on the cover. I thought that she was going to be more of a side character. So it's really interesting that she ended up having like the biggest part, really. And I love James Herondale. I love James Herondale so much. But I'm really excited to also get to know more of the characters because Anna Lightwood is also a favorite of the Last Hours cast. So I'm very excited to see more of Anna in the future. So yeah, so those are some of my favorites. It's always the main characters, and you know what? That's like something unapologetically about me. Like I just always love protagonists. It goes for like almost every series out there. Like the main character is always my favorite. Let's see. I've been like trying to space these out because I don't know how many I really have. Yes, Anna is bae, and I can't wait to read for more from her. She was my favorite novella in Ghost of the Shadow Market, so I really love learning more about her there, and I really hope she takes a bigger role in Chain of Iron because I feel like whereas I thought that Cordelia was more of a background character, Anna had less page time in the Last Hours than I expected. So I really look forward to hopefully seeing more of her in the future books. Let's see. Did you see the Chain of Iron first 2 chapters? I did, but I really don't read a lot of excerpts before. And I know that sounds like so blasphemous as a big Shadowhunter fan. You'd think that I would be like jumping at the chance to read like the first 2 chapters. But I'm the type where I'm like, if I read those 2 chapters, I'm going to want more. So typically what I'll do is like in the time of me like preparing for the next book, like when it's getting closer to release and maybe like I'm making like a theories video or whatever, that's when I'll start reading like those excerpts and snippets and whatnot. So I'm gonna hold off on those for now, but I'm really looking forward to it. Have I read any Chris Colfer books? I have not. Chris Colfer, he was in Glee, right? I haven't read anything from him. I don't think. No, I would know if I did. I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna add. Oh. This just fell out. I need to add more of these up top to balance it out. The thing that's a shame about these is that they get lost in the lights. Like you don't notice them as much, but they make me so happy. What am I drinking? Beer, wine, cider, and what's your favorite? So I am currently drinking a Down East cider. And it is their cider donut flavor, which is delicious. I am a big cider person. That's what I like to drink personally. I like wine and I like beer. I'd say that cider is my favorite, and then beer, and then wine, and then liquor. I don't like drinking liquor like at all, really. When I'm at like a party and like my friends are like running around like giving everyone shots from the bottle, I am like, absolutely not happening. And they try every time, and I'm like, no, thank you, not my thing. What are good Christmas books? I'm trying to find that out myself. I have not read a ton of Christmas books, and I would like to read more. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. I will not see them in the chat at this point, but you can tweet me or like DM me on Instagram, and that would be a good way. But I'm definitely looking for more Christmas books. But my favorite Christmas book is The Afterlife of Holly Chase, which if you've been watching my channel for the past 3 years, you have definitely heard me talk about it. And it is a retelling of, what is it a retelling of? It is a retelling, oh, hey, forgot about this little one. It's a retelling of A Christmas Carol with like a modern supernatural twist. And it's super fun, and I highly recommend it. It's one of my absolute favorites. I have to say, this is going a little bit faster than I expected, but we still have not done the tinsel. I wanted to do all of this first, and then we'll get to the tinsel after. So we'll see how that turns out afterwards. Let's see. Let's see. What do you think of all these older series releasing new books in the last couple of years? That's a great question. I have, out of those, I've read Midnight Sun, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I feel like there's another one that I read that was like a follow-up years later, but I can't recall off the top of my head. And I know the Shatter Me series, but I haven't read that. I haven't read the new Shatter Me books yet. I'm a little conflicted on them because oftentimes they just they are never as good as the original. That's what I think it comes down to. With Midnight Sun, it was enjoyable and it was fun because I was a prior Twilight fan, but it did not add anything really to the original Twilight story, and especially because it's literally the same book written from someone else's perspective, so it didn't have a lot to offer, in my opinion. But Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes I enjoyed and I found interesting, but that one also, it wasn't as good as The Hunger Games. I was really glad that I liked it a lot more than some other people who have read it, because a lot of people hated it before it was even out, and then a lot of people read it and hated it, and I thought it was good. It just wasn't spectacular or amazing or necessary to read as a Hunger Games fan, but I liked it. So it was one of the better written ones, I think. But yeah, Noah Shaw I haven't read. I didn't read the new Darkest Minds series, although that one I do want to read because I'm a big fan of the Darkest Minds. So yeah, those are just some things, some thoughts on them. I just feel like they're never as good, and I'd like to not think that they're all a cash grab. But often when they come out and they're just not great, that's what it feels like, unfortunately. Alrighty, let's put this one here, and then I finished all of the ornaments on this bookshelf, which is exciting. All right, so then the next thing I have to do is the tinsel, which I love the way it looks, but it is a process to put up, honestly. But that's what we're going to do next. Oh no, did it freeze for some of you? I saw someone say that. I don't know if there's anything I can do about that. I'm sorry. Let's see. Booktubers you hope to collab with in 2021. I saw that Michael was here. I don't know if Michael's still here, but Michael is who I want to collaborate with. Yes, I saw that Michael's here. Michael is my best friend, and I adore him. And so I would love to collaborate with him again because we always film such fun collabs, and I have not collaborated with him in such a long time, and I just haven't seen him in a long time. So I miss my Michael. And I would love to see him and film some videos with him again in the future. Let's see. What shelves are my favorite? That's a great question. Obviously, the Shadowhunter shelves are, of course, a big favorite of mine because I put so much effort into them. And they just make me so happy to look at. I'm really happy, not only with all the books that I have, but I like the organization that I have of them at the moment. So those are all good things for me. This is really my favorite books shelf. These are favorite thrillers and favorite contemporaries and mental health books and LGBT books. So this is my favorites shelf that I consider. And then those are a lot of overflow and whatnot. Yeah, Shadowhunters are a favorite. I do love my Harry Potter shelves as well. Because that's another collection that I put a lot into, although, of course, the Shadowhunter one is much more expensive. Oh, this tinsel's cute. I bought this tinsel this year because I've been using the same one for like 3 years. And they just all have tape on them, so I was like, okay, maybe it's time to get some new ones. But I did repurpose the tinsel, the older tinsel that I have, for other rooms and stuff. So not being wasteful in it, which is good. And this is staying up pretty good too. That's exciting. Have I read or did you like The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith? I love The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. That was such a fantastic book and absolutely one of my favorites. That one I kind of picked up on a whim. I think I saw someone recommend it in one of my videos very casually, as many of you do. Like, I really do read your recommendations when you leave them in the comments of my video. And I think I was just scrolling on Libri, which is how I read ebooks and listen to audiobooks through my local library, so I get to listen to them for free. And they had it available, and I didn't really have anything to read. So that's what I do a lot of the times, like when I don't know what I want to read, especially like listen to an audiobook. I go through Libri and I'm just like, what's available in like the YA category, for example. So I picked it up totally on a whim, and I fell in love with it. I remember I was listening to it one day when, did I go to a book signing that day or something? Or maybe I just like drove out east on the island for some reason. And I like listened to like the last 5 hours of it in one day. So I got a lot, I was like very inundated with the book, and it just kept getting better and better. And so I remember like I got home at like 11 p.m. and I was like, I refuse to go to bed tonight until I finish this book. I was just so obsessed with it. So I ended up listening to the last 2 hours like in the dark in my room, like just with my like dim fairy lights on. And I was like, it's a really emotional book. It's about a young girl who was raped, and it like follows her throughout for all 4 years of high school and like how that trauma really affects her. And so the ending was just like so emotional for me that I was just like sobbing to the point of like not being able to breathe while listening to it. It was a very profound experience for me, and like when I encounter a book like that, I'm gonna remember it for a really long time. So it's an absolute favorite contemporary of mine. If you are like me and you really enjoy like the hard-hitting, dark contemporaries, like it's at the top of my recommendations list. I'm very pleased with how this tinsel is coming out, and a lot of you guys always ask me like, how do you set up your bookshelves? How do you keep those lights up? It's literally just Scotch tape. I use Scotch tape so much, and I use a lot of it probably, which is why it works well for me, but Scotch tape does not let me down. Let's see what other questions you got. Team Edward or Team Jacob after reading Midnight Sun? Okay, like I was never like all that compelled by Jacob, especially in the books. And the only reason I switched to Team Jacob was in middle school because Taylor Lautner played Jacob and got hot in New Moon. And I'm proud to be very transparent about that. And I was always Team Edward. And after reading Midnight Sun, I actually like Edward less than I ever did. So that wasn't fun for me. So now I think I'm just Team Bella. Like I actually liked Bella a lot more after reading Midnight Sun. And I do, that's not to say that like I don't still like Edward and Bella. Like at the end of the day, if I'm choosing, it's definitely Team Edward. But I wasn't as satisfied with Edward's character reading from his perspective as I thought I would have been. So yeah, I'm down to be Team Bella and just have her live her life happily without either of them. Let's see. I already talked about Kirsten's book recommendations as I don't really have them. Someone asked for recommendations for psychology majors, and I actually have a whole video on that on my second channel, Emma Helps. So I'd recommend going to look at it. But as an overview of those, and these tips can apply to kind of any major, anyone who's looking to go into like any professional field. The first thing I recommend is taking electives that are in your field. So like with my school, they offered a lot of options for psychology classes. So like in order to get one requirement, there were like 3 different subjects that would work for that requirement. So it was really great because I could get my requirements. I got my requirements like early on in my degree, and then later I could take classes that were just interesting to me, like adolescent psychology or psychology of women. So if your college offers classes that you don't have to take in your field and you can take them as electives, I highly recommend it. I ended up taking 7 classes that were not required for me to take. Could have taken like super easy electives, but you know, I went to college to learn, so I wanted to take psychology classes because that was what was interesting to me. So I took 6 extra classes as psychology electives. And so if you're a psych major or whatever kind of major you are, if you have the ability to take like additional classes as electives, you will learn so much more than you did in just your required classes. And my other recommendation is to get involved in like the actual like professional community. So, for example, in college for me, we had a whole class where essentially we didn't like meet every week and there weren't a ton of assignments, but what we had to do is by the end of semester, we had to attend like 9 hours of actual psychological events. So that means like workshops and especially in the pandemic webinars to like actually like learn from professionals and people working in the field and to like see what it's really like being like a psychological professional. And that was a really great experience. And again, I learned so much more than I would have in the classroom. So whether you have a class like that or not, I definitely would recommend looking into what types of workshops and events there are in your area in normal times, but now everything's online, so there's like a ton of webinars and stuff that you can attend in your field, and conferences and whatnot that are online. And like I saw another good recommendation, like for art majors, like get involved in your local art community. Go to like poetry readings and gallery, nights and whatnot. Those are all ways for you to not only learn more about your field, but to also make connections. And in the professional world, making connections is really important. And that's how you can find internships and jobs and just overall get advice on the things that you're looking to do. So again, those tips come from my experiences as a psychology major, but I really believe that like any college major can benefit from doing those 2 things, of taking additional classes if you have the space in your schedule and if your school offers them, and getting involved in the actual professional community and especially the local community as well, that you have in your field. Dude, this tinsel's coming out so great. I'm so pleased. Let's see what other questions. Let's see your questions. Oh, apparently Jake is here. Hi, Jake. I hope you're having fun and possibly also decorating your home for the Christmas, for the holidays. Would you ever do a video breaking down the extra content from the Shadowhunter Chronicles if you haven't already? I am not maybe the best at that, but the TMI source is a website, and they do that for every new release. They tell you what edition is coming out and what extra content there is. So I don't know if I'll ever get to that, but I would highly recommend visiting the TMI source. They are your go-to place for like that extra type of content or additional editions of Cassie's books. But if anyone is looking for additional Shadowhunter content right now, Cassie just released that if you sign up to her newsletter, she is releasing a ton of Cait stories. So I think that there's like some past ones that she's released and also possibly some new ones. So I am personally really looking forward to that. And if you are as big of a Clays fan as myself. Definitely recommend signing up to her newsletter. What is my all-time favorite standalone? Is Addie LaRue a standalone? Because I loved Addie LaRue. But actually, I think the answer to that has to be Daisy Jones and the Six, because I know that is a standalone. And yes, Daisy Jones and the Six. I did not reread that this year. I feel like I have to reread that this year. I read it like 3 times last year. Oof. I definitely need to reread Daisy Jones and the Six. Yes, Daisy Jones and the Six is my favorite standalone. It's a fantastic novel with really compelling characters that feel super real. And it's also like such a quick read because it is like 7 hours long, the audiobook. And it's written in an interview style format, so it's literally just dialogue. So it's a quick read. It's super interesting. The characters are great. The plot is super engaging. And it's also one of my like auto recommendations. It's definitely a book that I recommend to people like regardless of their interests, because even though it's historical fiction, like I don't ever read historical fiction. Historical fiction is not the genre I read. So I always recommend it because it's an absolute favorite of mine. Let's see what other questions you guys have. See, the tinsel is just very time consuming for me. It's taking a long time to get through. Let's see. See what other questions you have. I started watching and watched all of Schitt's Creek because of your Halloween costumes. I'm so happy to hear that. Schitt's Creek is an absolute new favorite show of mine that I watched this year, and it was really fun. Am I afraid that the tape will hurt my shelves? No. These shelves, or at least one of these shelves, survived a move. And I do this multiple times a year with when I decorate Halloween with tinsel as well. And all of the lights are held up with Scotch tape too. So I have no fears that it will hurt my shelves in any ways. How is my new bed? My new bed is amazing. Like, seriously, there's such like a stigma about sponsorships because people think that creators take them just because it's money, and it's like, no, like I reached out to Lull because I thought they were awesome and I wanted to try their bed, and I'm obsessed with it. It is so comfy. My room is like so big and expanded now that I've taken like my other bed was bigger. It was like more of a king side, and this one is a queen. So it's opened up so much space in my room. So like I can stretch in my room and it just feels much bigger. And my mattress is so freaking comfy. Like I've spent more time in my bed since I got my new mattress than I ever have before. It's just super cozy and I love it. The only thing is that I definitely need to put some like rubber stoppers on my bed frame because it moves really easily. The whole bed, like when I'm making my bed and stuff. But I love it. And I'm super pleased with it. Oh, where are my scissors? Where did my scissors go? Have I read all these books? No, not all of these books. And it's actually like frustrating when people are like, oh, not saying that the person who asked this is saying this, but it's frustrating that some people are like, oh, all those books and you haven't read all of them. Well, like, yeah, because I get rid of books I don't like. Like when I read a book, if I don't want to keep it, I'm not just going to put it on my shelf. I'm going to get rid of it. So yes, I have way more books that I haven't read yet because I keep the ones I like, and then I eventually will get to the other ones. So yeah, I haven't read all these books, and I don't think I will ever read all of the books in my collection because there is literally just not enough time in the world to read all the books. It's just not possible. But I like it that way. I'd rather have, I'm in a very privileged position to have as many books as I have, but I'd rather have like all these extra books to read than like not have like enough books to read. Like I'd rather have books to look forward to reading and ones that I can like pick off my shelf and be like, yeah, that's what I want to read. as opposed to like having only a collection of books that I've read and loved, and needing to get books elsewhere when I want to read a new book. How many tattoos do you have from the Shadowhunter series? So I have my Arazzi, which is 1. And then I have Sebastian's bracelet, which is 2. And I can't show you the last one because it's under my shirt, but I have Cassie's handwriting on my back, which is 3. So I think only 3 of them are Shadowhunter related. Let's see other questions. Recommendations for books about substance abuse. I have a favorite one recently, which is Heroine by Mindy McGinnis, very easily accessible. And this is about a teen that develops an addiction to opioids, and it was really gritty and dark, but super, super accurate and moving and wonderful. I adore it. So I definitely would recommend checking it out if you're looking for more books about substance abuse. My favorite thriller trope, ooh, I don't know. I just love plot twists. That's not like a trope. That's like a literary element. But when I'm reading a thriller, like I just want to be surprised. That's what it comes down to. I love, what I love about reading thrillers is that I'm like constantly trying to figure out the mystery. So when I'm able to figure it out, like I feel good because I'm like, oh yay, like I guessed right. But at the end of the day, like I want to be surprised. I want the author to give me something that I never could have expected. Someone asked if I'd ever want to own a bookstore. And that sounds like fun. I've thought that this probably isn't already a bookstore out there, but if I owned a bookstore, it would be called Quality Books, and Quality would be spelled Qualitea, and it would be a bookshop and like coffee shop. But I have no interest in owning a retail store. I worked in retail when I was younger, and I have no interest in going back. And what I would say that I don't want to own a business, but that's not true because I want to open my own therapy private practice. So I will hopefully own my own business one day, but I don't want to own a store. But yes, it sounds fun, and I've met a lot of people who own bookstores, and they do love it. And I especially think that it's cool because of the culture of readers is different from other types of stores that you could own, because like, you know, with bookshops, like I feel like you really get connected with like the readers and the people who are coming in to buy new books, as opposed to people who might just be shopping for like a new shirt or something. Not to diss anyone in here who might own like a clothing store. But yes, owning a bookshop sounds cool. Not for me personally. Also, like I gotta be honest, like I don't understand the process of like obtaining product for a store. I think about that all the time, especially with small businesses. I'm like, where do you develop these relationships with people to like produce your stuff and then like sell them? It confuses me. I don't want to figure it out. Favorite book based on a movie? That's a really great question. I love City of Bones, but it's definitely not my favorite because it is a flawed movie, my friends. I love it, but it's a flawed movie. Harry Potter is always just like a comfort for me. And I've always been really attached to those for obvious reasons. I'm trying to think of what other movies I've read from books, because to be honest, a lot of YA ones are good. Like The Hunger Games is great. I love The Hunger Games as well. And like Twilight is fun for the nostalgia, but I think a lot of YA adaptations are like good and enjoyable, but on their own, they're not the most phenomenal films. So that's a good question. I feel like I would really have to think about movies based on books. I feel like my favorite movie based on a book would be something obscure, or like a book that's not necessarily my favorite, but it would be a really good movie. Do I like Lush? I really like Lush. I definitely don't order from them very frequently, but when I would go to the mall, which I haven't been to in forever, But I always enjoyed going to the Lush store. They definitely have my favorite bath bombs. I adore Lush bath bombs. Like, I buy them from other places, and they're just not as good as Lush. And recently, when I was like struggling really hard, my friends Sarah and Monica sent me. It was really sweet of them. They sent me like a whole like Lush care package. So I've been able to try a bunch of new products from them and whatnot. Like I've tried their like bath jelly, their bubble bar. Like, I've tried a lot of new products and I really like them. So I definitely should invest in them a little bit more frequently. But yes, I really like Lush, and I especially really appreciate they're cruelty free. Like their brand, it appears from what I know about them, my limited information. It seems that they really have like an ethical, sustainable, environmentally focused business model with their limited and or recyclable packaging. The fact that they're cruelty free, like that's important to me as a consumer. So I really do like Lush. Favorite Buffy episode? Ooh, that's such a good one. I haven't watched Buffy in a long time, which like maybe a sign that I need to watch more Buffy. But my favorite always goes back to the musical. I love a musical episode of a show that's not normally a musical, and the Buffy one is just so iconic. And I feel really paved the way for a lot of what am I trying to say? I think it paved the way for a lot of other musical episodes for TV shows. Would I ever do live reading sprints on YouTube? I think I definitely would. I go live on Instagram way more than I go live on YouTube. I will very randomly decide I'm gonna go live on Instagram while I fold my laundry or while I do my makeup. So if you are enjoying this live, I definitely recommend following me on Instagram because that is where I am most active in forms of lives. But yes, I definitely would consider doing live reading sprints. Maybe I'll try and do one while I am off of school. That would be a good way. Is this going to fit to the end? Yes! That's so exciting. I saw some people talking about the diviners, and it reminded me that someone asked above, if the diviners is worth reading. And yes, the diviners is one of my absolute favorite series of all time. It has such a wonderful blend of historical and supernatural and mystery. The characters in the Diviner series are all fantastic, and it's a beautiful cast. Wonderfully diverse and super well-rounded, complex characters, and it's such a treat to get to know each of the characters individually, to see their relationships and friendships, and then also their dynamic as a group. It's one of the best written series I've ever read. So I love the Diviners and highly recommend anyone who likes the supernatural to read it. It's wonderful. Ooh, favorite thriller of the year. That's hard because I feel like I've read some good thrillers. One that I've read recently that I really loved is You Are Not Alone by Greer, Hendrix, and Sarah Pekkanen. And it is about a young woman who super average, doesn't have a lot of direction in life, and she witnesses a suicide and ends up getting involved in the girl she watched die's life. And then it's also from the perspective of these two sisters who were best friends with the girl who died. So it was really thrilling for a thriller. Keep losing my scissors because there they are. Because they blend in with the tinsel. And yes, so I really, really enjoyed You Are Not Alone. And if you like thrillers, especially yes, there is a graphic suicide in the very beginning, but it's not gory and bloody. That's what I really like about Sarah Pekkanen and Greer Hendrix books. They are very psychological. in nature. So I've enjoyed all of their books, but I read You Are Not Alone this year, and I really liked it. We should do this one next. I think about decorating in terms of like what's going to be in my video frame. So I always want to make sure that like those ones are getting the attention first, and then if I have extra decorations, we'll put them on the bottom. I need to get another thing of tinsel. Thoughts on the song Jamie dropped a couple of days ago. I loved it. I did see Counterfeit, which is Jamie Campbell-Bower's band, when they were in New York, and that was September of last year. And Paralyzed was originally a Counterfeit song, so I saw them perform it, and like out of all of the new songs they performed, that one was not my favorite. But the like layered down like acoustic piano and string arrangement that Jamie did is amazing. If you are a Mortal Instruments fan or just like good music, I think you should check out Jamie Campbell-Bower's new song. Yeah, it's wonderful. I listened to it like on loop the other day while I was doing work, and it's just so beautiful. And I find his songwriting and lyricism style to be super unique and unlike a lot of others. So I loved Paralyzed, and I'm so excited for him to release new music. I haven't bought his merch yet because I wasn't a big fan of it, but I'm also like, am I really the person who's going to miss out on getting Jamie Campbell-Bower's first like solo merch release ever? So I think I need to buy it just to have it, which is my perspective with all the Lil Peep merch I own now. It's like I can't miss out on it. I need to collect it. I'm a big collector, as you can see. So that is, but yeah, I loved Paralyzed. I think it's a beautiful song. I'm so excited for Jamie to release more music, and I can't wait for him to put all of his music on Spotify and just grow as a musician because he really, really deserves it. Let's see. I need YA fantasy recommendations. The first one that comes to my mind is Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody. It's a really, really fun one. It takes place in a sort of like Las Vegas / Atlantic City is what it's really inspired by. And it is full of like mafia families and gangs and casinos, and it also has another really dynamic cast of characters with really interesting dynamics. And what I love about Ace of Shades is the magic system. It is just like so layered and complex. Like I feel like it's really hard for me to describe always, but it follows like the way it's set up is each family, like every character has last names from their matriarchal and patriarchal side. Or maternal and paternal is actually probably the better word for that. And one of them is like your stronger first talent, and the second is lesser. And then within each family, you're categorized into different types. So like there is, like elemental magic and like the typical kinds of magic you see in fantasy. But then there's like dancing talent and like numbers and like math and stuff. So it's really expansive. And then even within that, because like, it's many different families, there's like a hierarchy of them. So like our main character, she is of the dancing talent, and she's at the lower end of it. She's like not one of the more talented families. So she is, although she like, I think she like does dancing in school at the beginning of the story, and so she's like looked down upon because she's from one of the lesser families. So it's really interesting and expansive, and I just absolutely love it. And it does not get the hype that other YA fantasies do. So I would love to see more people reading it and whatnot. It's just so good. I haven't read Queen of Volts yet, which is the conclusion, but I'm very interested in doing so. So I'm excited for that one, and if you're looking for YA fantasy, I highly recommend checking out Ace of Shades. What other questions? Would I ever do a video ranking my friends' favorite books? That's an interesting one. I haven't thought of that. That's a really good idea. The problem with that is that I haven't always read all of my friends' favorite books. So I feel like if I like asked all of my friends, like, tell me your favorite books, I would either have to be like ask for a bunch of like recommendations and like pick out the ones that I know, or else I would have to be like literally judging them by their covers because I haven't read them, and I feel like that would make people angry if I'm like, this book doesn't sound that interesting. Then people would be like, what? That's my favorite book ever. Like, why would you say that about a book you haven't read? But that's a good idea. I might look into that in the future. I feel like ranking books, some people think they're so overplayed, and other people are like, I love them and I want more, and I really like them, so I would like to do more ranking videos, especially because they're just like fun. And that's really what BookTube should be about. It should be about the fun videos and the ones that you enjoy making as opposed to the ones that you think that other people should enjoy or want to make, or avoiding the ones that people don't want, or you think that people don't want. Yeah, that's a really good suggestion. Let's see. Advice on finding a new therapist. There's lots of ways you can find a new therapist. If you are looking to go through insurance, I'd recommend calling your insurance company and seeing, like asking them for providers that are in your network. But also like on psychologytoday.com, you are able to look into different therapists in your area, and you can see like what they specialize in and whatnot. And what I have recently been discovering is that there are a lot of websites out there that are intended on connecting you with therapists in your area that have the qualifications or specifications that you're looking for. So like, I know for a fact that there's one for like Black men looking for like mental health support, Asian Americans, LGBT. So I don't know those off the top of my head. I can't tell you the websites, but if you were to Google, like a particular type of therapist that you were looking for, if you wanted a therapist that was a woman or a man or also LGBT themselves, there's a lot of options out there for you, and there are, what's the word I'm looking for? There are like website services that can help you find that particular type of help that you're looking for. But basic, if you're looking for something just like basic, going through your insurance or looking at Psychology Today are two of the recommendations I would have for you. Wow, I'm so excited. I'm almost completely done with these shelves. That's really exciting. I say that as I have like at least like 3 more things of tinsel to do here. But I'm having a good time, and I hope you all are too. So let me cut off this little side, and then we'll do the second to last bottom one. And then I'll go back and see if I have extra for the top and the bottom. What am I going to do when I get more books from Cassie? I don't know. I'm very sad that what's going to happen is I'm going to have to take up one of the shelves underneath it. And I very much loved having like a full row of Cassie books. So now they're going to be like more separated, which I'm not looking forward to, but I'm just going to have to make another shelf. Thoughts on the Infernal Devices TV show? Is there even going to be a different Infernal Devices TV show? I mean, like, that's like a rumor that's been going around since like 2014. But I would look forward to it. I've been burned by Shadowhunter adaptations, as we all know. But I am still hopeful. Like I at the end of the day, like, adaptations are going to bring more readers to my favorite series. And that's what I can hope for. So even if I did not love the Infernal Devices TV show, if there ever was one, it's, more exposure for Cassie and her books, and that's what I want for her. So I would be open to it as long as she is also open to it, because I know that Cassie has said that she is being very, very careful with her movie and TV rights going forward after her past experiences. let's see. Favorite LGBT contemporary. I just recently read The Black Flamingo, which I really enjoyed. And favorite LGBT contemporary, I always go back to Adam Silvera. He's like a favorite author of mine. And I think my favorite out of all of them is They Both Die at the End, which takes place in a future where you get a call on the day that you're going to die that says you're going to die within the next 24 hours. So you like have time to set your affairs in order. And it's about like, so, you know, life has like developed around that. So there's this thing called the Last Friend app where it like either you can sign up like as a person who is like on their last day and looking for, you know, like a connection, a hookup, just a way to connect with other people, or you can sign up as someone who can be like supportive for other people that are going through that. And so it is about two boys that meet on the Last Friend app and like end up falling in love on their last day together. And it is beautiful and moving and super engaging. The title again is They Both Die at the End. Is it easily accessible? This is the UK cover, so this is not the US cover, but I highly recommend it. I love it. It's one of my favorites. I would love to reread that book. I haven't read that one in a really long time, but it was a favorite of mine. Would I ever rank the Shadowhunter Chronicles? Yeah, I would definitely consider ranking the books. I feel like I would maybe just want to wait a little bit longer till maybe I would do that at least when Chain of Iron is out so I can include it in the video. Because actually I think that it's going to be Chain of Iron and then the next Shadowhunter book, the next main Shadowhunter series that comes out after that, I think is the start to The Last Hours. I don't think that it's consistently through the way that The Dark Artifices was. So I would definitely be interested, but I would want to wait maybe a little bit longer. But yes, I'm definitely interested in doing that. I thought it would be fun to also rank all of the books that I've read in 2020. So that would be a fun video for me to do maybe at the beginning of the year. So I would be looking forward to doing that as well. Let's see. Thoughts on They Both Die at the End adaptation. I feel like They Both Die at the End would be, I think it's a TV show. I think that's what they were talking about when it was announced that there was going to be an adaptation. And I feel like it would make a great TV show because not only could you get Mateo and Rufus' story, but I feel like it would be a great opportunity to see like what other experiences are like in this world where like we know we're going to die like that day. I think that it would be really, really cool. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I always try and go into adaptations with like an open and honest mind. I just feel like so often with YA adaptations, like the producers just think that teenagers are stupid. Like literally they just like, oh, a romance? Well, if we throw that at them, like they'll be entertained, or like here are all these tropes that we think teens love. So that always gives me a little bit of pause with YA adaptations, but I try and go into them with positivity. Did I enjoy Shadow and Bone? I think someone else mentioned like they want to know my thoughts on the adaptation. I did enjoy Shadow and Bone. I read the first book in like 2015, and then I think in 2018 possibly I decided to finish the series. And I enjoyed it. It's just that because it was such a dense fantasy, I actually don't remember much of it from like a year or two after finishing it. So I'm definitely looking forward to the adaptation now. I think it's going to be really interesting to see them combine Six of Crows with Shadow and Bone because they're different series entirely. But I think it's going to be cool. I liked the casting so far. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how the adaptation pans out, especially because that seems to be like one of the next ones that are coming out. You know, like YA adaptations were huge in like 2013 through 2016, and then they just kind of slowed down in the last couple of years. So I feel like it's like the first like big one in a while. Oh no, I mean, you know, not to say that there weren't a lot. Like, what is it? To All the Boys I Loved Before came out, and I loved that one. what other one came out recently or is coming out. Tiny Pretty Things is getting an adaptation, which I'm super hyped for. That's a series I really enjoyed a couple of years ago, and I noticed that there's a lot of changes. Like, it's not set in New York anymore, as like the major change that I noticed. But I think it's gonna be really cool. I'm very excited for Tiny Pretty Things. Dash and Lily also recently came out, and I was never a huge fan of the Dash and Lily books. I think I read the first one. I don't remember if I actually read the second one. But I read the first one and I just like wasn't blown away by it like other people. But I'm also very interested in the TV show. So I'd be down to watch that one soon, hopefully, especially because of the Christmas time. Oh, maybe I should watch that soon. That's a really good idea. That is a very good idea. Let's see. Oh, you guys have been hanging out with me for an hour and we've only done one shelf. Wow. Thank you guys so much for hanging here. Have you ever had your reading taste completely change and you no longer have any ideas to pick up? I'm struggling. I don't know if there was ever a point where like they like quickly changed for me, but my reading tastes have definitely changed like seriously since I started my BookTube channel. And I think that part of it is like acknowledging that your tastes have changed. So like, if I'm, I also feel that I go through like phases with my taste too. Like sometimes I want to read more fantasy, sometimes I want to read more YA, sometimes I want to read more adult. So I think that oftentimes you need to just kind of like go with it and recognize like, okay, like if I've been really disappointed by all my YA books recently and like I feel like YA isn't something I want to read right now, or maybe I've grown out of it, like don't pick up a YA book, pick up something different. So I think that that's my biggest suggestion is to like, if you're noticing that like a favorite genre of yours or whatnot isn't doing it for you lately, read something else. And I find that oftentimes you may go back to it. You may like, have your break and then you'll pick up something else that is of like your past favorites and you'll really enjoy it and then you'll be back into it, or else you might have learned that like, okay, this isn't something I enjoy anymore, but I found the other things. What do you suggest for people who want to talk to themselves? I'd say try and talk to yourself louder. That's a funny video. Am I excited for Euphoria Season 2? I am so excited for Euphoria Season 2. I did not see that new episode that they posted. That was like a bonus episode about Rue. But I would really like to because I love Euphoria. I've watched it 3 times. And it's fucking wonderful. I absolutely love it. So I'm very excited for Season 2. Favorite mystery? I am always recommending Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson, especially if you love YA, but I feel like Truly Devious is of like the higher quality mysteries. Because I find that YA mysteries, although they can be fun and entertaining, they're often very contrived and their mysteries aren't as interesting. But Truly Devious is very complex, has a lot of layer to it. It's a dual timeline, so it takes place in the present and in 1936. And it's super twisty and keeps you guessing. And like I lost my scissors again. You really have to, continue reading to get the answers you want. But I always recommend Truly Devious for YA, and for adult, Night Film is a big recommendation of mine. I really enjoyed Night Film. Night Film is a little more polarizing, I feel. There's a lot of people that did not enjoy it as much as I did, but I loved Night Film. So I think you should read it. Alrighty, we are down to the last 2 tinsels. And then I have a few things like little just trinkets that I want to put on my shelves, and then we'll go do the other one, the other shelf, which will be much less involved. But yes, thank you again for hanging out with me while I do all of this decorating, because it's a lot of fun. It's much more fun than if I were doing this by myself in my room. Tape is what I need next. Let's see. Thoughts on the Throne of Glass HBO adaptation? I'm not really a Throne of Glass fan personally. Yeah, I gave it two honest tries, and I really mean that. There has never been a series I have tried to like more than Throne of Glass. And it just wasn't for me. I liked the first 2 books, but Heir of Fire just like really ruined the series for me. I read the first 3 books twice, and both times I did not like Heir of Fire, and it has just completely crushed my motivation to finish the series. So at this point, I don't think I'll ever finish Throne of Glass. It's just like, people are like, oh my gosh, you have to, it's so good. And like, why would I spend my time reading a series that like I've given 2 good chances? Like, I really want to enforce that. I gave 2 really, really honest chances, way more than I would ever give another series. And it wasn't for me. And so I'm satisfied with, not finishing it or not knowing the end of it. I'm okay with that. So I don't really have strong feelings on the adaptation. This is another adaptation that I'm like, it has been in the works for many years. Like, is it really coming? There's so many book adaptations that are announced that the rights have been sold and that like they're working on it, but nothing ever comes of it. So I wouldn't say that I'm not waiting on bated breath for it, but if it came out and people said it was really good, I would definitely consider finishing. Let's see. What about ACOTAR? I did like ACOTAR more. I finished the 3 main series of ACOTAR. Quarter Wings and Ruin, also not my favorite. I enjoyed the first 2 books much more. So yeah, I never read A Court of Frost and Starlight. Just wasn't interesting enough for me, but I did really like the first 2 books, and I consider myself a fan of ACOTAR, even though the 3rd book didn't really wow me. Oh, I'm so happy with the way these shelves are coming out. They're looking so good and festive and Christmassy, and I have just been loving getting into the Christmas spirit. I kind of wish I had done this a little earlier. I feel like Christmas is over. It's not, but I just feel like it is already. It's December 5th, I think. 20 days till Christmas. I'm definitely not the person that is like, oh, Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. I like the Christmas season. So I like this period of like getting ready for it and being festive. And then it ends up Christmas is just like another day for me. But yes, I love decorating. I decorated my room really nice this year, which I posted on Instagram a couple days ago. It's always mostly just on my bookshelves, but it has been really lovely decorating my room as well, which is like so cozy and festive now. And now this room is going to be so festive. So I have very much been looking forward to this. And we're almost done with the bottom one, and then I just have to do the top ring of tinsel, and then we're going to throw on some ornaments on the other shelf, and then we're pretty much done, which is exciting. I feel like this is going so fast, and y'all have been sitting here for like an hour and a half already. So thank you again for taking the time to chill with me for this long. It truly is a wonderful time. It is the most wonderful time of the year, as you know. Crescent City, I have not read either, but I am interested in reading Crescent City. I heard really good reviews of it, and I'm interested in reading, like, I know ACOTAR is adult, but it definitely has that YA feel to it, so I'm excited to read something that's a little more adult from Sarah J. Maas. I just, in my, like, not reading tons of fantasy lately, adult fantasy is not high on the list. I love my adult thrillers, and I'm trying to get into some more adult contemporaries, but yeah, adult fantasy not super high on the list. But Crescent City and adult fantasy I do want to read. Any angsty slow burn wrecks? Ooh, that's a good one. Renegades is not angsty. It's not angsty, but it is very slow burn and enemies to lover, which I feel like sometimes can be viewed as angsty. There's some angst, but it's more like sweet slow burn, with the fact that the main characters are actually enemies. So if you're looking for slow burn, I recommend Renegades. Ace of Shades is pretty angsty. I don't think it's slow burn, but it's angsty. Let's see. I feel like The Cruel Prince also isn't that slow burn, but also super freaking angsty. Like, the definition of angst is definitely the Folk of the Air series, which I also have yet to finish. Yay, I'm so excited that these are getting done. And I feel like I always have the compulsion to take everything down like right after Christmas, especially because like I film my videos so far in advance. So like I'll film a video like at the end of December and it won't get up till mid-January, and then I'm like, that's weird if I still have my Christmas stuff up. But I just love my Christmas decorations for my bookshelf so much. Favorite clothing item in 2020. That's a good one. I love this new plaid dress that I have. This is the first time I'm wearing it. So I've been very much excited to wear it for this live stream. Other things I've worn a lot in 2020. I'm trying to think of what else I've worn. I've fallen in love with lilac over the summer, so I bought a lot of lilac clothes that I really loved. So there's definitely some favorites on there as well. Yeah, I don't know, especially because like 2020 I've spent like all my time at home, so I don't have the ability to get dressed up and have like fun with outfits the same way I used to. I'm mostly looking for something functional that I'm going to be comfortable in. But it's nice that I have YouTube because that gives me a reason to get dressed up and whatnot, that I don't normally have in the recent times. Yeah, we're so close to being done with the tinsel. I just feel like it always looks so cute. Like I feel like I've said that 4 times, but I'm very happy with the tinsel. Have I read Fable? I don't think I read Fable. I don't think so. I don't think I've ever heard of Fable actually, but maybe I'll have to put that on my TBR if you are so interested in having me read it. Someone asked how many courses I've taken in my grad program so far. So we take about 2 per semester, because it's technically a part-time program. So I took 2 for my first year and 2 for my second year. No, 2. So that's 4 per year. So 4 plus 4 is 8. And then I had practicum, which is 9. And so now I take 3 classes every semester. So that's 10, 11, 12. So I've currently taken 12, and I think that in total I take 16. I think that math is correct. I'm not sure. So I think I've taken, at the end of next week, I think it is, or the week after, I will have finished 12 classes for my grad school. Oh, I already put a thing there. So now we can do the final tippy top layer of tinsel, which is nice. Let's get started on this last strand of garland. Is Daisy Jones still your favorite book? I have like lots of different favorite books. I'm not the type of person that can choose one favorite. Daisy Jones is definitely my favorite standalone and one of my all-time favorite books. But like, you know, I got The Mortal Instruments up there. Now Addie LaRue is up there. I'm the type of person that I'm like, when you ask me what's my favorite book, like what category are you looking at? Are you looking at my favorite fantasies, my favorite Shadowhunter book, my favorite contemporary, my favorite mental health book? Like I've got like 17 answers for what's my favorite book. And, you know, I just accepted that and we just have to live with that. How active are you on Goodreads? I am not active on Goodreads. I would love to be more active on Goodreads, but it just feels like so much work for me to update. I don't know why. I used to be so active on Goodreads, and now it's really just become an afterthought for me. I guess it's just because like as I've gotten older, I have less free time, so I have to be really choosy about the social media sites that I spend my time on. So my voice just cracked. So I'm definitely being most active on Instagram now, even though I don't post on Instagram very frequently either. But I post on my stories a lot, which is where I've centered a lot of my time. And so Goodreads for me is just like a good place for me to catalog all of the books that I'm reading. Like I would like to be a little bit more active with it and like on time, like, you know, instead of updating it every few months, it would be nice if I updated it as I read. But, you know, my time is very, very limited, so I have to be choosy. And Goodreads is one of those sites that just fall behind. And honestly, Twitter too. I used to be so obsessed with Twitter and spend all my time on Twitter. And now I'm just a lurker on occasion, and I delete Twitter every once in a while. Like, not my account, but every couple weeks or so, every month or so, I delete Twitter for like a day, a couple days, a week. Yeah, Twitter just does not bring me the same joy that it used to. I find it really, really toxic. And so I don't like spending a lot of time there. But you know, it's still a good place, especially you know, for like keeping up with like current news and stuff. That's where I like to use Twitter for. But it's just not my favorite site anymore. I like posting pretty stories on Instagram. Let's see. Is Blood and Honey near the top of your TBR? Blood and Honey is definitely near the top of my YA fantasy TBR. YA fantasy is not super high on my TBR at the moment. But when I do get back into YA fantasy, Blood and Honey, Queen of Vaults, all on there. Especially as we're getting into the winter, I feel like maybe I will be more intrigued for some fantasy, because I will want to be escaping some of the, you know, the coldness into like different worlds. I feel like contemporaries really fit with winter. I mean, really fit with summer. And fantasies are more of like a fall-winter thing for me. So I don't know when I will get back into that. But I'm a super big mood reader. I'm the type of reader that like I need to be in the mood to read a book. I can't ever pick up a book because I need to. So it's important for me to like really listen to that part of myself, because then I end up reading things that I don't enjoy, and therefore I'm reading less, and then I'm just not reading anything. Whereas if I listen to like what my mind is really craving, then I'm happy and I'm reading a lot. Is it cold there? Just wondering. Yeah, it's pretty cold out. Today it was really rainy. It was a very like gloomy, dreary day, which I like a lot of the times, especially when I'm able to stay inside. But yes, New York is definitely getting colder, and I'm very lucky that I have some really nice heaters that keep me warm. I'm definitely intrigued to see when the first snow of the season will be for me, though, because I've seen like Pennsylvania getting snow and Canada getting snow, so I'm definitely interested to see when New York will get its first snow of the season. And it will be especially nice because I don't really have to go anywhere. The struggle of snow in New York is always because you have to like get out earlier than normal in order to clean off your car before you're going somewhere. And I don't go anywhere. So I'm looking forward to having some snow this season, since I won't have to go out in it and I can just look at the pretty snow and appreciate it that way. Let's see. We're so close to being done with this bookshelf. Hell yeah. Very much excited about that. So I'm just going to quickly finish that, and then I'll check on some more of your questions as I am finishing up this shelf. I just have like a couple of like little things that I like to put on the shelves. And then we will move on to my wintry shelf theme. And then we will be done. And if you missed the beginning, or if you're not able to finish watching until all the way at the end, I will be posting this after, so you can watch it then. Cool! Yay! All the main big decorations are up. Where do I purchase my planners from? So I have always been purchasing my planners through a website called Purple Trail. I really like their planners. I like a hardcover, really big planner that has weekly and monthly options for it. So that is what I like, where I like to order them from. I've been ordering them for years, and you're able to like personalize like it super well. So I love those planners. I actually just recently ordered my planner for next year, so I'm looking forward to getting that in and being able to start prepping for it and whatnot. Let's see. Yay, this is looking so pretty. I don't know where to put this big ass Merry Christmas sign though. Maybe I'll put you here. Cool. Like I said, I like to focus on the ones that are more likely to be in frame when I'm filming. So that's something that I definitely try to keep in mind when I am putting these together. Let's put a little Santa here. We'll put Mrs. Claus over here. And then I have a nutcracker, another little Santa, and the sign that says Merry. Let's put the sign here. And we can go a little lower, I think. So maybe I'll put a Santa over here to take up some of that space. And I will put this nutcracker. You can go here. Yay! My main shelf is done. Cool. Super exciting. So now we're going to focus in on this shelf. I feel like a lot of people don't know that I actually have this shelf because I mostly film on my other ones. But I love this shelf as well. So I'm excited. And like I said, this one is more of a wintry, snowy scene, where that one is like super Christmassy in your face. So a new addition that I have this year is I got these little snowflakes that I am going to also be putting on the bookshelf. So I think I'm going to do those first, and then I will do the ornaments around it because these are much smaller. I have less of these. But wait, there's more, exactly. How did I fit all my books in there? I get rid of ones I don't want. That's the only way I can fit books anymore. I feel like I'm constantly running out of space. And the only way I make more space is by getting rid of books. So I don't really have a plan for how I want to hang these. So I'm just gonna do them a little randomly. I wish I took the time to like tie it as opposed to these twisty ties, but I just don't care enough. So that's how we're going to do that. Cute, nice. I like it. I'm into it. Let's do the other big one. And we will do that up here. And then we'll play with the ornaments around them. But I gotta say, the twisty ties work so well. I bought a bunch of them for this year because I do what I wanted to refresh them, and it turned out great. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look super pretty, but I don't care, so. Do I donate books? Yes, I do. I have a huge stack of them that I am planning on selling in my bedroom. Once I finally edit this on haul that I've had filmed for months, then I will donate them. and or then I will sell those. But so I do donate books very frequently, especially because I get so many for free. So I like to donate those to my local library or local teachers. Right now, my local library is unfortunately not taking donations. I've tried, so I have like a big box of books in my trunk that I'm just like waiting for them to tell me that they're taking donations. But what was I going to say? But yeah, I donated like 80 books to my local high school not too long ago, or like that was actually like a year ago. And then I had another friend who's a teacher who she was looking to get new books at the start of this year, so I donated like at least like 40 books to her. So I donate a lot of books, and I love being able to do that, especially for people who like don't get a ton of books the way that I do. So I really love being able to give them to people that are going to read them. That's like my intention when it comes to books. Is that I just want people who actually want them to have them if I don't want them myself. Let's see. Someone asked if I sell them on Depop. I do sell them on Depop. I don't currently have anything listed on Depop, but I will be listing the ones that I do sell on Depop when I post my haul, my unhaul actually. Let's see. Let's see. How do you take notes in your classes? Honestly, now that we have been online classes, I really haven't been taking notes because my professors send me all the PowerPoints. So I don't need to take notes, really. But when I did, I was always someone who preferred writing notes as opposed to typing notes. And I would use like a color coding system for things like where, how did that happen? I would use like a very elaborate color coding system to signify like definitions versus important informations and headings. So that's how I would take my notes. Color coding is a big thing for me though. That's like how I do everything. It's just by making sure I color code it. And it works really well for me. I'm a big type A personality, so that organization is important to me. These are a little bit more finicky than I would have wanted, but I'm also not attaching them super nicely, so I can't really blame them. But I think they look cute. You definitely can't even tell that they're there as of now, but we're getting somewhere and we're doing something. Let's see. Have I read Where the Crawdads Sing? Yes, I have. This is actually my adult favorites shelf, and you will see Where the Crawdads Sing right there. I loved Where the Crawdads Sing. I picked it up because I actually went to a library discussion for Daisy Jones and the Six last year, and the librarians were talking about how good Where the Crawdads Sing was, and so I read it and I really loved it. It was super interesting, and I think part of that is because like it is just like so different from my life. I forgot what the main character's name was, but it's so different than like my own experience. It's all about a young girl who like basically raises herself like living in the swamp or the marshes in like a southern town, and so that's not an experience I have any experience with. So it was really interesting, and the writing was gorgeous. All these different descriptions of like marsh life and whatnot was beautiful, and it's a wonderful coming of age story that like spans a character's like entire life from being very young to growing older. So I really loved it, and I highly recommend it if you have not read it yourself yet. Let's see. Excited for the final Miss Peregrine's book. I have not caught up on that series, unfortunately. I have read up to only book 2. It's not a favorite of mine, so I haven't prioritized it as much as some other series. But, I liked it enough that I would eventually maybe consider going back to it, but definitely not a top priority for me as of now. But I hope that you are. My hope is always that you guys are excited about Oh wow, I had just enough snowflakes, one on each strand, or one on each shelf. That's exciting. Let's see. Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? I love Elf. I have not watched Elf yet this season, but I definitely should. Elf is actually my mom's favorite Christmas movie. Jake was over the other day, and we were just laughing hysterically because my mom was laughing hysterically at Elf. She thinks that movie is so fucking hilarious. And every time she watches it, she was just in hysterics. So I always associate Elf with my mom now. And I definitely want to watch it this season because it is truly a Christmas classic, a modern Christmas classic. I think what I'm going to do next is just put on all the other stuff, and then I'll do the ornaments. What happened though is, so I've had this this snow globe since 2017, as you can see it. I bought it from Target, and the water turned yellow. So now it's like not as pretty anymore. It looks much more yellow in person. But so yeah, I'm disappointed by that a little bit. What part of Long Island do you live? I am from Nassau County. That's where I am. I'm on the South Shore, and I love it. I love where I live, and I'm happy to stay here for some time. My most anticipated release of 2021, Chain of Iron. Duh. Does the new Ninth House book come out in 2021? Because I would be very pleased about that. That would be another anticipated for me. Okay, so let's put that there. And we will put a little snowman bell ornament that can go here. I think that's exactly where I put that last year. That's funny. Awesome. What other anticipated reads do I have in 2021? I literally don't know. I really should get better. I should spend some time over the holiday break looking for what anticipated books I have in this coming season or coming year, because I'm always so behind with that, I feel. So yeah, I have all these just little very cheap and inexpensive trees that I put on, and it makes it wintry, I guess, I hope. And then I love also putting pine cones, keeping that foresty winter scene going on. Let's put a double there. I'll put that one there. I have a couple more. Let's see. Put that one there. I have one more. Let's see. We can put that. Put that here. Yeah, that works. Cool. So the last thing to do is just put on all these ornaments, which should be fun. These ones are all snowflakey and wintry and blue, which I love. So they're very snowy. Am I reading any Christmas romance books? I have been interested in the Holidays by Christina Lauren, but I did have a friend that gave it like a 3-star review, so that like puts me on pause a little bit. But again, if you have any Christmas book recommendations, I'm currently looking for them, so let me know. I'm definitely looking for more Christmassy books to read, because I'm planning on doing a 24-hour Christmas thing to read along with. Read-a-thon, read along. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Right. I feel like these, I want to be a little bit more strategic about them. So I want to plan out how many like big ones I have, and then put this in order. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh God, I'm not gonna sit here and do math. We're just gonna wing it. That's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna wing it. So yeah, we'll see how this pans out. Let's see. I just read Let It Snow is good in my opinion. I have not read Let It Snow. That was one of those ones that I kind of passed on. But I would be interested in going back to that one and seeing. Ooh, is Landline a Christmas read? I did not know that. That's really interesting. I did not know that. Okay, so let's put that one here. How many did I say I had of the big ones? Did I say I had like 8? I feel like that sounds right, but also wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I had 10, and I have 12 of these. Oh, so that means I can put like 2, 1 on each, and I'll have 2 left over. Cool, that works for me. Let's see what other questions you have. I'm glad you are appreciating the Christmassy music. I kind of wanted like Christmas lo-fi music, if I'm honest, but it's no biggie. I find the classic Christmas music kind of relaxing, so it's been nice to listen to that for a change. Let's do a white next, I think, and then we'll do dark blue over here. Should I start a booktube next year? If you want to start a booktube, I definitely think that you should. I'm glad to hear someone likes the idea of what was it? I'm glad that someone liked In a Holidays, because I have been interested. Oh, where did my chat go? Where did I put the chat? Oh no. Where'd you go? No. How did I do that? That's never happened before. Oh no. I don't know how to get the chat back. Damn it. Where are you? Dang it. I don't know where the chat is. Okay, maybe what I will do is I'll stop watching myself on the regular stream and I will open the actual video and then I can read the chat on that side. I can do that, right? We're going to probably have feedback for like a hot second. Or not. Cool. This works out. I can't see myself anymore. Wait, no. I can do this. Hold on. I've got this, my friends. I can figure this out. Yes. Here we go. Split screening it. But yeah, I literally don't. If anyone knows how to turn the chat back on from the live streaming thing, that'd be great. But I can't find it, so I'm just gonna watch the chat in another window. But now I can see you again. So cool. What part of Delaware did you visit when you visited your dad? So my dad lives in Newark. I think that's where he lives. So that's where we went, and obviously we didn't really leave my dad. We went to my grandma's house, which is close by as well, but yeah, my dad lives in Newark, so he's like not too far from the University of Delaware. And I have explored it a little bit more in non-COVID times, and it's a nice area. So I definitely would like to go back to visit him when it's safer and we can like go outside and explore a little bit more. Yeah, I'm so pleased that I'm getting, I'm doing these little Christmas decorations. They're making me very happy. Let's do this one here. These are all plastic, which is also good because even if I drop them, they don't break. But I am afraid of like sitting on one and having it like go nuts. Oh, I wanted to put the blue one there. That's what I wanted to do. So we're going to do this really quick. And I will put a different one here. My favorite Christmas song? I don't know. I feel like I don't listen to a lot of Christmas music. Maybe that's something that I should invest in doing a little bit more as I'm trying to get into the holiday spirit this year. But yeah, I don't really listen to a lot of Christmas music. I feel like what I would like is like listening to like modern popular singers cover like classic Christmas songs. I feel like that's something that I would be more into. Let's see. Have I been hooping since the pandemic? Not really. Especially recently, I have not been as active as I want to be. In the pandemic, I was doing pretty good for a while, I thought, but it's definitely been a little harder as of late, especially being so busy with school and whatnot. So I'm hoping that as I finish my semester and I have a little extra free time, I will be able to focus more on, you know, like taking care of myself physically the way that I want to. So we'll see. But no, over the years, I haven't been hooping as much. I just like every once in a while I'll pick up my hoop and I'll just like do it in my room a little bit. But I've really fallen out of like trying to like improve my skills and whatnot. Yeah, and I don't know if there's really a reason why. I've just gotten involved in like other hobbies and whatnot personally. Where do I want to put this one? We can put it here. Oh, there's a light out. I didn't realize that light went out. I'll have to change that one. I just recently bought new bulbs for this, and I feel like I've used them all up recently. I feel like I had so many bulbs just die on me out of nowhere recently. Okay, so I think I'll do one more down here and then another one up there, and then I should be done with the big bulbs, and then I just gotta do the little ones. Cool. I wish I had like some other cute thing to put on here to make it more visible, because it's like not a super big, the decorations on this shelf are not like in your face, and I love in your face decorations, but they're so cute and I'm very happy with them. So there's nothing to complain about. Have you seen Queen's Gambit? I have not, but Jake and I have been talking about wanting to watch that one because it's got such great reviews. So many people love it, and like all I'm hearing about is how great it is. So I'm definitely interested in it, and I can see maybe me and Jake watching that the next time I see him. Cool. Now we just gotta do some little bulbs. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Those numbers mean nothing to me because I don't know how to plan it out, but we're gonna go at it randomly. So these are a little bit easier for me to format, I think. So I think I'm gonna just do them a little all over the place. With the other ones, I tried to like space out between like the silver or the gold and the green and the red. But I definitely have more dark blue, so I think that's what I'm going to focus on putting together first. You can go here. Oh, you know what? No, I think I want to do one dark blue on each row. So let's put you up here because you don't have any bulbs up here yet. Oh no! I just started scratching off the paint on this one. That's not good. How did that happen? These are cheap from Michael's though. Most of my decorations are from Target and Michael's, the craft store. So let's do a dark blue over here. And then we can also do a dark blue right here. I'm excited to maybe have some extra bulbs this year for this one though, because I did the snowflakes. They're looking cute. Let's see what other questions. I thought Michael book line. That's why anytime I say I went to Michael's online, I always follow it up with the craft store, because I'm afraid that everyone's gonna think I'm talking about Michael, my best friend. Jake is asking favorite DeSongber song because Jake is doing a new song every day in December on his Instagrams. And my favorite DeSongber song is the one he posted today, which is all about leaving home for the first time and having your own place. And it is a very good song. So you should go to Jake's Instagram at JakeSackett and go listen to it because I love it. We have one more blue one to do. So let's put you right here, I guess. You go right there. Cool. Alright, next I think I'll do the light blue and then I'll put in the silver and I'll put in the silver and white elsewhere. So let's do light blue here. Oh no, this one was supposed to get a white twisty tie. Oh no, that means I have to go in my other room. Okay, you know what? I will change that after because I don't feel like getting up and moving. Let's see. Let's see. What does that say? Jake has better style than all of us, and that's the truth. That is the truth. That is most definitely the truth. Let's see. Have you watched She-Ra and the Princess of Power? I haven't actually watched either of those, but I've heard wonderful things about She-Ra. I feel like it's maybe not necessarily the type of show that I normally watch, but it also feels like one that I would enjoy. So it's something that I would maybe consider getting to at a future date. I want to put this one. I don't have a lot of bulbs up here, so maybe we'll do. I'm trying to see like where like we're missing some light blue up in this house. I feel like you could benefit here. Cute. And then the other light blue I wanted to do one down at the bottom. It's all very strategic, my friends. Let's see. Let's see the questions. Have you heard, someone's asking, what do I think about Russian classic? And I don't know what Russian classic is, so I can't answer that question. I'm sorry. Oh, if you're a warlock, what color do you think your magic would be? That's a good question. I always say that royal blue is my power color, so I feel like the answer here is royal blue. I feel like that's the answer. Where'd the chat go? Why do I keep losing the chat? So yeah, I feel like my warlock color for magic would be blue, but I also feel like red would be a good color for me. Someone asked what my current read is, and the only thing I'm currently reading is Hollow Pox, which is the sequel to the third book, technically, in the Morrigan Crow series, which I am loving. I'm just barely started it, but I am very much enjoying it. And I haven't started a new physical book since finishing the last book of the White, but I am going to start, where is it? I thought I had it like right on my bookshelf, but I'm going to be starting Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Godalev, which I recently picked up in my book shopping blog. So I've been interested to read it, and it feels like it's going to be a good read for me for now. And again, because school is chilling down, I feel like it would be a good time for me to invest myself in some nonfiction. So I'm looking forward to that. And that one is like all about a therapist and like what she learns from having her own therapist. So I'm looking forward to reading that one as well. So that is technically a current read, but I haven't really started it. So it's maybe it's my next read would be a more accurate way to say that. Where else do I have space to put one of these? I guess I'll go here next to this snowflake. And the last one, which again, I don't know where to put. Okay, I think that you should also go down here, over here. And then we will be done decorating my bookshelves for Christmas. How exciting! So let me try and give you a better close-up. Because again, I feel like they're pretty hard to see from far away. So I'm sorry if this makes anyone dizzy. Fair warning. So this is like the wintry themed bookshelf with the blue and silver and white ornaments and all the trees and stuff. And then over here we have the Christmas bookshelf with my books, stockings, and all the tinsel and other ornaments. But I'm really pleased with it all. So I think that really concludes this live stream. So thank you again so much for joining me and hanging out with me while I decorated my bookshelves. It was super fun to talk to you all. Way more fun than if I was doing it myself. But yeah, I'm really pleased with all my new decorations, and I hope that you will see them in some new videos soon. But that is really it for this live stream. If you missed any of it and want to go back, I will be posting it live on YouTube afterwards, so you'll be able to watch it and enjoy and go back and whatnot. But thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for all of your questions and for watching. And I will chat with you all on Instagram and hopefully have a new video up for you soon. But if you haven't watched it yet, I have a what is the word I'm looking for? I have a book shopping vlog that I adored, so you should go watch that if you haven't already, or maybe watch it again if you really enjoyed it. But thanks for joining me. Hope to see y'all soon, and I will catch you later. Bye! Did it end? Did it not end yet? I don't know if this is working or not. I don't know if I'm off. I don't know if I'm off live yet. Maybe someone let me know if I'm still here or not. Dang it! How do I end this? What is going on, my friends? This is quite embarrassing. I am pressing end. I am pressing end. Let's try again. I'm pressing the end button, and it's just not working. If I press X, will it go off? I don't know. We'll try that, or maybe I'll still be here. Who knows? But thank you guys for joining me.